So, hello, beautiful, gorgeous lady. Today we are here to talk about Unleashed. Welcome to the Unleashed Virtual Summit. And this summit is put together because of you, because I believe it's time for you to stop holding back and go after your dream, your passion, your plan, and share your gift with the world. My name is Wumi Akinlosoti, and I'm the founder and CEO of Blooming Ladies. To bloom is to flourish, is to thrive, is to be your best self. And that's what I want for you. And with me today is a gorgeous and wonderful lady, Ash. Ash, please could you introduce yourself?
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, Wunmi. It's such an honor and a pleasure to speak to your ladies and to your audience. It's just something that I really enjoy, one of my favorite parts about my business. And so thank you for inviting me. My name is Ash Ahern. If you haven't met me before, I'm an online brand strategist and graphic designer. So I call myself a brand coach. And the reason why I do is because I'm a bit of a different animal. I am not only a graphic designer, I also coach people on how to create truly soul-aligned brands. And I work with online entrepreneurs and emerging influencers such as speakers, authors, and coaches, and leaders in network marketing. And why I've done that is because I've been in business for myself ever since university. I graduated with a degree in music performance that I didn't realize wouldn't get me a job. So I really had to figure out what I was going to do, and I really had no idea. So I got a job in sales out of university, and they very quickly moved me out of that role because I was very naturally talented at sales because I never had a sales background. I didn't come from, high ticket sales. I wasn't an overly trained salesperson, but I was very charismatic. I connected with people. I cared about them a whole lot, and I would never try to offer them something that was outside of what their current need was. And so, literally within 3 weeks of being hired to that sales job, they promoted me to the next level, which was a print layout and design a copywriter and editor for ads at the Calgary Herald and National Post. So that was a really cool job that I had. And they really invested in me, and they sent me to Adobe Bootcamp to get my graphic design certification. And it was not something that I expected to learn or to end up needing. And I would have probably stayed there for a very long time, except that when I went on maternity leave with my first daughter, a larger company actually bought them, and they terminated my position while I was on maternity leave. So here I am, 6 months into a maternity leave and no job to go to. So I was kind of scrambling and not sure what to do. And I never really wanted a job in the first place. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So that period of time gave me the opportunity to figure out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to start my first business, what I was going to sell, how to package myself. And I really had to lead myself through the very first stages of creating my own business. And ever since then, people that I knew in my network and in my circle would come to me for advice on how to start their business. And so I naturally just flowed into business coaching. But my favorite part to talk about is the brand, the developing the offers, pricing and packaging yourself, the visual identity, and just making sure that it's 100% authentic to who you are. So that's what I'm all about.
Wow, that's so interesting. So, when you realized that your position was terminated, I know it could have been a very disturbing period for you. So how did that go for you? How was the challenge for you, and how were you able to handle it and move forward from there?
Truthfully, from the moment I found out I didn't have a job, I'm the kind of person that I can either become completely paralyzed by fear, or I'm so I don't know if the word is anxious because I don't have anxiety per se, but when something really affects me emotionally, I tend to do one of two things: freeze or jump into action and do things without thinking. And I think in that moment of panic, instead of freezing, because now I have this little person, this brand new little human that I brought into the world, and I feel like without her, I would have just frozen and not done anything and been paralyzed by fear. But because I had her, and now I had this duty and responsibility to look after her, it was her that really inspired me to just start doing. And I acted without thinking, which is not always a good thing to do. But I thank myself and her for it every day that I did, because I launched myself into a business without really doing any research or development around it. Without really overly thinking things, I just dove myself headfirst all in to making this work, because I did not have a plan B. I had to make it work for myself.
Mm. So it's, what I'm hearing from you is that you went all in to your business, even though you didn't have a plan B. So it's like not having a plan B was very good for you. It helped you to cut the rope and stop giving yourself excuses, you know, and you went on in. So what were some challenges you faced starting up? And what are some excuses you would have given yourself, which maybe could have been very genuine, for not going after your business or not doing what you said to do? Yeah.
Well, truthfully, I mean, I've been in business for 12 years now. So if I rewind and think back to the specific challenges I had, the first thing that comes to mind is I had no money to start. And I could have let that become an issue. Like, I could have made excuses and said, well, I can't start a business. I have no money, because there's, there's this saying out there that it takes money to make money.
Yeah.
Right. And so I kind of was raised that way, that if you don't have money, you can't make more money, which, okay, is it the chicken or the egg? Like, where do I get money from? But because I grew up in a poor family, we were on social assistance and welfare programs. My mom was a single mom. I watched her become incredibly resourceful. I saw her make something from nothing over and over again. Every time we had to move, or every time I had a growth spurt and needed new shoes or clothes that she couldn't afford, I saw her get creative and resourceful all the time. And so she really modeled resourcefulness and creativity when it comes to problem solving. And so when I found myself in this position with no job and running out of time really to create some sort of economy in my family, and having this little human depending on me, I had to get resourceful. And so what I did was, my very first website, I used a Weebly because it allowed you to have a website for free. And so even though it had the Weebly branding on it, I didn't care. It was my only option. I had a free website. I think I was using the free URL for a really long time. So the domain name, like weebly.com/Ash Ahern, right? I didn't have the luxury to worry about those things. And I didn't have the money to be able to, buy a custom domain or any of that stuff. I also used programs like MailChimp so that I could send emails for free. Every free option I had, I would use. I remember not being able to afford Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign, and having to use free clunky apps online to do things like create transparent background art files, and video editing was brutal because I didn't have the right apps. And I just remember asking people for favors like, hey, would you do an exchange of service with me? I'll give you this if you help me out here. You really just have to get resourceful when it comes to, if you feel like you're in a pinch, ask for favors, do exchange for services, use free programs where you can, and just, you got to make it work until it's working.
Yeah, wow, I really like that. So if you're listening to me right now and money is your excuse why you're still staying leashed, you've heard from Ash. You look for ways to go around it, look for ways to go above it, beneath it, somehow to just make sure that you are going after your dreams, that you cut that leash and you go after your dreams. So Ash, I'm sure you've met different women. So what are some excuses that women give you, or some challenges women say they face why they're not going after their passion or their dreams?
The biggest one that I hear, because people hire me to do their branding. And it's interesting because oftentimes it's actually not the rebrand or the new fancy logo they need. They actually need to inject some activity in their business and focus on their bottom line, which are those revenue generating activities. And we tend to believe that if we are putting ourselves out there, we're doing a live video, we're posting a couple times a day, that clients are just going to magically find us. That's not how it works. Okay, so the biggest excuse that I hear is that, well, I don't want to be a salesperson, or I don't want to do prospecting. I don't want to sell myself, or come across as desperate or anything like that. And I get it. And I'm the same way. But unfortunately, in business, if you are not focusing on building relationships and getting visible by reaching out to new people every single day, your business relies on you to get that big ball of momentum moving. So if you're not willing to reach out and make new friends every single day, you will feel like there's nothing going on in your business. And it's very easy to get stuck in working in your business versus working on your business. Working in your business looks like creating content, sending emails, posting on social media, taking pictures to post on social media, like working on your website, developing a brochure, printing a business card, all of the things that are required for business, but they're not actually income revenue generating activities. Whereas working on your business is things like prospecting, doing virtual coffee calls with people, or meeting up with people, attending events. There are so many ways that you can connect with people every single day and have meaningful, purposeful conversations that could lead to them possibly knowing who your next client is. So I always go indirect and say, you know what? I know that you're probably not interested in buying what I'm selling, but maybe you might know somebody who needs X, Y, Z, right? That you could introduce me to. And hey, I've got a referral program. If you know anybody, I'll pay you a 10% referral fee or affiliate commission, right? You got to kind of entice people a little bit. If you've shown up and you've been of service, you got to ask for the referral or ask for the sale. Otherwise, nothing happens. So It's not a magical process. It really does require purposeful, intentional, focused activity on your part to generate sales and income for you. And try not to avoid it, because have you heard that phrase, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. It really boils down to that activity of prospecting, building relationships, and putting out offers every single day.
I like that. So sometimes we avoid what that we need to do to really get us moving in business. And for those that are not yet in business, you're looking at it and you really know this is your sole purpose, to go after this particular business or this calling. And even if it's not profit making, might be a non-profit organization you're called to do, but you keep holding back. And Ash has told us too that many times those things we are refusing to do or we're not happy to do might be where the money is or where the result you're looking for is. So Ash, what are some words you would like to give to someone out there that is sitting down and is like giving excuses and, staying leashed, being held back, from going after their dreams?
I have something that I hope is very useful, because when I learned this for myself a few years ago, it changed everything for me. And there's two sides to it. One is really getting into alignment with who you are and how you're putting your offer out into the world. Because if you are, let's say you're a very spiritual person, but you have a very business persona, and then you're looking to, you keep your business, very separate from who you are as a person, people will have a difficult time connecting with you if you're trying to keep it too professional. So for example, LinkedIn is my least favorite social platform to do business on, because I have no exposure to who you are as a person, virtually none. We tend to share very business related articles there, very professional opinions. And the unfortunate part is we've actually deemed professionalism as a way to not be vulnerable, not share story, and not share our personality. Right? So that's one of the worst things that you can actually do for yourself in business, is not open up. When we crack our hearts open, it helps other people relate to us. Sorry, my kids are all home for spring break. But the other side of things is when you find yourself in a position of feeling stuck, or you're not doing actions, or you're fearful, where that's coming from is actually the thoughts that you're thinking, because the thoughts that you're thinking create the emotions you feel, and the emotions you feel will have a direct impact on your actions. Shiloh, hey, shh. This is all about the reality of being a mom in business, right?
I know.
And so the emotions that we feel, because they come from those thoughts we're thinking, they are actually what fuels the actions that we're taking. So for example, if I'm feeling hopeless or let down or disappointed or stressed out or anxious, sorry everyone. If I'm feeling any of those things, it's coming from thoughts I'm thinking. So if I need to go back and journal, what is it that I'm thinking? Where are these emotions coming from? Because you might have been triggered by something that you read, because I'm telling you, the secret is everything you're surrounding yourself with is influencing what you're thinking. So if you're around low vibe people, or you're reading the news every day and hearing all that negative news, blah, 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 right? Those are the things that you need to distance yourself from, so that you can be, always surrounded by positivity, because your brain will naturally regurgitate what you're hearing and spin on replay for you when you're working in the subconscious zone, right? Mm-hmm. So I always try to journal and figure out, where is this emotion coming from, right? If I'm feeling down or blue or depressed or hopeless or fearful, I need to figure out where that's coming from so that I can get rid of it. Right? So I try to track down, where are these thoughts coming from? And now what could I think instead? And oftentimes I'll just flip it on its head. So if I'm thinking, I'm no good at this, or I'm not an expert, or that person over there has the same amount of expertise as me, but they're making more money than I am. Why is that? And I'm playing comparison, right? What about, I have something unique and special to me. I have a very unique set of experiences that have made me unique and special. Right now, I'm starting to get some positive thoughts going, which actually help me feel a little bit better. And there's other tools you can use as well. I'm a very tactile person, so I enjoy essential oils, putting on upbeat music. It's called your rate of vibration, your ROV. So there's different strategies that you can use to raise it when you're feeling down. But really, your thoughts are the biggest one. When you can change the way you're feeling about something, then you can change your result. Because if you're thinking that you're not worthy, and then you're feeling stuck because you're not moving because you're thinking unworthy, then what kinds of actions does an unworthy person take? Typically none.
Yeah.
Right? So then what kind of results, Moonmi, do people who are stuck in inaction get? Wah, wah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. You get no results because there's no actions you're taking, because you're feeling a certain way because of how you're thinking. So if you really want to get a certain result, reverse engineer that. What kind of activities would you need to do to get that result? Right? And then what kinds of emotions do you need to be feeling to encourage you and feel motivated enough to do those actions? Right? So you can kind of reverse engineer it, or you can think about it as, I'm going to believe that every day is a new, fresh day for me to start again. Regardless of what happened yesterday, I'm going to leave it behind me. I'm going to focus forward, right? And I am going to do the best work that I can do today. And having a positive, affirmation like that running through my head, now I'm feeling a bit excited. It also, this is a huge, great thing that you can do. It's also really, really good idea to put on like your favorite preacher, or a motivating podcast, or a YouTube series that's devoted to, lifting you up, uplifting video of some kind, or upbeat music. Because as soon as you can hear other people talk about their story and how they came from nothing and made it happen for themselves, it's motivating, right? Because now you're identifying with that person. You're listening to me going, she came from nothing and had to use a free website and a free domain name, to having a multiple six-figure business online. So if she can do it, I can do it. So now you're feeling encouraged and motivated. When you're feeling that, go act. Go reach out to a few new people, send out a few new messages, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, in person, whatever that looks like. And guess what? You'll start seeing a momentum happen for you. You'll start seeing that things are starting to churn over. That rock that you're pushing is starting to move. And it's easier to keep it moving than it is to start from scratch all over again. So keep that momentum going. Establish a daily habit. John Maxwell talks about his rule of 5, where every day I read, every day I write, every day I journal, every day I write. Have you heard these?
No.
Okay. John Maxwell, rule of 5. This is something that he does every single day. He reads every single day. He writes every single day. He catalogs every single day. He prays every single day. There's a couple things that he does that I don't recall, but there's 5 of them. And somebody was interviewing him once and they said, John, what if it's Christmas, right? He goes, every day I read, every day I write, every day I journal, every day I catalog, right? Okay, well, John, what if it's your birthday? Every day I read, every day I write, every day I catalog, every day I journal, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the day was. What if you're sick, John? Every day I read, every day I write, every day I journal, every day I catalog. And I think it's because he's been doing this every single day, no matter what. It's become a discipline. And he's the only person in the world who's published more than 100 books, right? Because he's just doing it every single day. And so what would happen for you in your business if you started doing 1 to maybe 3, maybe it's 5 new reach outs to new people every single day, no matter what, right? No matter what. And if you are somebody who observes the Sabbath or something like that, does sending a few messages on Instagram feel like work to you? Because it doesn't to me. In fact, a really great speaker that I heard back in December named Fraser Brooks talks about his toilet time and how you cannot make an excuse for prospecting if at the very least you have to go to the toilet a couple times a day. And in that 3 to 5 minutes that you're sitting there, you can be messaging somebody on your phone, right? Take your phone with you, send out a few messages or emails or whatever it is that you need to do. There's no excuse anymore. Toilet time, I'm telling you, it's magic.
Thank you very much. You've given us so many tips to use today. So, lady, you have no excuse. Oh, woman, you are inexcusable. There's no excuse to stay leashed. It's time to cut that rope. It's time to cut yourself free and go after your dreams, your passion, your plan, your purpose, anything you want to call it. Stop giving excuses. There are a lot of challenges we face as women, but to say the truth, there are people out there that can help you to move forward. And you can actually decide to go ahead with your dreams despite any challenges you might be facing. I'm sure if you look deep enough or wide enough, you'll find someone in your shoes that's breaking the mold and going after their passion. So thank you very much for being with us today on this virtual summit, Unleashed. And it was put together because of you. We had you in mind today because we want you to be unleashed to go after your passion and your dreams. Thank you very much for joining us today. And Ash, a final word, bye or something.
Yeah, I just want to encourage you today, if you're listening in and you're motivated by anything that we've been talking about, one of the things that I want to just keep in mind for you as you move forward and you're focusing, just stay yourself, be yourself. God made you the way you are for a reason. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Don't try to put on too many hats. Just focus on being you and being it fully, and the world will open up to you. I promise. Just stick with it. Do your outreaches, get visible, and just stay true to who you are and what you believe in.
Thank you very much. Bye.